Welcome to today's mindful moment. A few moments to enjoy invitations from trees. Much of this mindful moment is going to come from a beautiful book called How to Be More Tree by Liz Marvin. Take a moment to find a comfortable seat if it's safe to do so, or stand still if it's safe to do so. Noticing either your feet on the earth or your sit bones on the chair, or both. Come back to your breath that is always available to you. And if you happen to be in nature, take a moment to share a few breaths with the trees, breathing in the oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide, sharing and exchanging this with the trees around you. And as you notice the breath pour in through your nose and out through your mouth, let yourself really, truly enjoy it. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And if you happen to be in nature, let the nature sink into every single cell of your body. And I invite you to bring one hand to heart and the other hand atop, pressing the heel of your hand into the heart space, releasing oxytocin, allowing you to soften and relax, and bathe yourself in more oxytocin. The top hand on the bottom hand, rubbing skin to skin, lessening the cortisol, and allowing this to feel really, truly amazing. And as you stand or sit with hand on heart, listening to this beautiful book and the invitations, some of the invitations from the trees it shares. Trees are truly amazing. Sure, they change carbon dioxide into oxygen, which is pretty important if you like breathing. But did you know they also build networks with other trees, can take action when they are being threatened, and have all sorts of clever ways to carry on growing even when they are knocked flat? Trees have been around for nearly 400 million years, a good amount of time to accumulate some serious wisdom. They have become masters at adapting, surviving, and thriving. Invitations from trees. Beginnings are always small. The Japanese maple. Draw strength from others. The aspen tree. Patience is a virtue. The yew tree. Ask for help when you need it. An invitation from the elm tree. Adapt to your environment. An invitation from the American beach. Be authentic. An invitation from the hornbeam tree. Love where you live. An invitation from the willow tree. Bask in the sun. An invitation from the mountain hemlock. Find your happy place. An invitation from the alder. Attend to your core. The black walnut tree. Look on the bright side. The chestnut tree. Don't be afraid to branch out. London plane. Get plenty of rest. The silver fir tree. Stand tall. The baobab tree. Be creative. The holly tree. Give without expectation. the olive tree. Set your own boundaries, an invitation from the white poplar tree. Be a good friend, the African acacia. Life is all about the small wonders, the acai palm tree. Be open to change, the balsam fir tree. Don't worry about things you cannot control, the Sève blue tree. Follow your own path, the banyan tree. Reach for the sky, the Gutta persha tree. Focus on the positive, the Gaiaria tree. It's okay to be different, the dragon blood tree. Learn from your past, the Corsican pine tree. Live in the moment, the Yoshino cherry tree. Pause for a moment here and come back to your breath. Reground yourself, recenter yourself. Closing eyes if it's safe to do so, a light loose gaze if it's safe to do so, and noticing how you feel. Noticing if you are attaching to trying to remember any of those invitations. Let them be a soft, light invitation. The beech tree invites you to figure out what's really bothering you. The giant sequoia invites you to accept your limits. The Chinese pistache tree invites you to change with the seasons. The Douglas fir invites you to make the most of your community. The cottonwood tree invites you to love the age you are. The ginkgo tree reminds you that nobody is perfect. The European box tree reminds you to let it go. The sugar maple invites you to look after the next generation. The bald cypress invites you to be proactive. The ash tree reminds you to celebrate your strengths. The kauri tree reminds you to stand on your own. The banksia tree invites you to embrace change, even when it's scary. The oak tree reminds you to make the most of downtime. The Scots pine invites you to stand your ground. The beech tree reminds you that timing is everything. The hawthorn tree reminds you to weather the storms. The Sierra palm invites you to stop holding on to what's holding you back. The red cedar invites you to live in harmony. The sycamore tree invites you to break out of the everyday routine. The cork oak tree reminds you to enjoy the ride. The black tupelo tree invites you to not be wasteful. The neem tree reminds you to offer shelter to others. The silver birch invites you to remember you don't have to be the star of the show. The cook pine invites you to remember to be careful which way you lean. The hazel tree invites you to be flexible. The lilac tree reminds you that happiness is a choice. The jarrah tree invites you to remember to save for a rainy day. The peepal tree reminds you to get in touch with your spiritual side. So many lessons, life lessons for perennial happiness from trees. Coming back to your breath and noticing how you feel after all of these beautiful invitations. In our complex and often confusing human existence, it's not always easy to keep a cool head and a happy heart. If something is getting under your bark, or you're suffering from a few snapped branches, or you simply need reminding to enjoy the feel of the sun on your foliage, I and we hope you'll find inspiration in this moment from the trees to help you deal with life's lumps and bruises. We hope that you will join us amongst the trees to enjoy the lessons from the trees, to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, to breathe with the trees at a Connect in Nature retreat or any of the Pause and Presence retreats. Noticing your hand on heart and hand on hand. Noticing how you feel after receiving these invitations from the trees and the invitation to join us amongst the trees to learn from the trees. May you all be well, and may you all enjoy being a bit more tree in the week ahead, the month ahead, and the year ahead. We hope to see you all in person and dance and play with you amongst the trees. Namaste from the Mindful Healers. Welcome to the Mindful Healers podcast with Dr. Jessie Mahoney
and Dr. Ni-Cheng Liang.
We are physicians and leaders who are also trained in coaching, yoga, mindfulness, and integrative medicine.
We are also mothers, spouses, sisters, daughters, aunts, and friends.
In this podcast, we share candid, heart-centered, loving, science-based, thoughtful, and often fun conversations about the challenges life throws at us.
With our collective experience of over 30 years in physician and personal wellness, we reflect and offer pearls of wisdom for navigating life's challenges with more ease.
From parenting, marriages, money scarcity, cancer survivorship, uncertainty, challenges in practicing medicine, we cover it all.
We invite you to refresh your perspective and empower yourself with mindset, mindfulness, and other well-being tools that actually work. A quick reminder that nothing in our podcast is medical advice.